Welcome back to Sharing with Shamika, and today we're going to be making Oreo cake. And I'll start out with these ingredients. And so let's get started. So I used to work with a coworker years ago, 10 plus years ago, and her grandmother used to sell homemade cakes, and I bought an Oreo cake from her. And I have been wanting that cake since that time. I've looked at tons and tons of YouTube videos trying to find something similar to how she made the cake and couldn't find anything. When you go on YouTube and you look up Oreo cake, you usually see a chocolate cake. Her cake was not chocolate. And so all these years that I've been making cakes, I never tried to make Oreo cake. So I decided one night around 8 o'clock, I'm going to make this Oreo cake. And I just went for it. So this is how I made that cake. And when I tell you guys, this cake turned out so much like that cake that I got from my coworker's grandmother. I was so excited. So I'm so glad I was able to get this on film. So you'll see me here making the cake. And I'll have the ingredients in the description box. But it was a real simple cake, box cake. Most people say, well, if you make a cake from a box cake, you're not really making a homemade cake. A cake is a cake. It depends on what the cake tastes like. And if the cake tastes good, hey, go for it. And that's what I did. So here you'll see me putting the batter into the pans. I put it in the oven at 350 for about 30 to 45 minutes. You also want to make sure you remove bubbles from the cake pan by just tapping it on the counters. So I did that as well. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the icing. And I just went from a buttercream icing standpoint and went from there. I made just enough for the cake. I wish I would have made a little bit more, so I would have. Going forward, I'm probably going to use double this recipe on the icing so that I have plenty enough so that I can make decorations also with the cake. And if you don't have a mixer, you can always use a hand mixer. Your arm will get tired, but you want to make sure that you mix the butter by itself for at least 5 to 10 minutes. You'll notice that it'll get creamier and you'll notice it'll get lighter in color. And so here I'm just adding in a little sugar at a time. And you'll notice my hand going back and forth on the dial. That's because I'm pulsing it, because you notice when I started out with my cake, it got all over my arm. So you pulsing it kind of helps contain the ingredients in the bowl and not necessarily end up on your hand and all over the place. So here I added about 5 Oreo cookies, crushed them up. I didn't use them all because I didn't want it to be stiff with those Oreo cookies, but this is what the cake looked like out of the oven. And here I'm just going for what I know. Icing in the cake. And like I said, if I had more icing, which is why I'm going to double the recipe next time, I would have been able to make designs with the icing, but I ran out. It's an easy cake to make. It's real simple. Not a lot to it. I wish I'd known that years ago. It was moist. Using that pudding mix actually helped it be moist. You can also add sour cream if you want to moisten the cake. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you try this recipe.